everyone, welcome to my channel. Today, we are diving into Bubble.io, one of the most popular no code platforms for building powerful web applications without needing to write a single line of code. So, if you are excited to learn about how you can create apps with zero programming experience, stick around. Let's start with the basics. What is Bubble.io? Bubble is a no code platform that allows you to create fully functional web application complete with user accounts, database, and even complex workflows. Whether you want to build a social media app, a marketplace, or an internal business tool, Bubble gives you all. It provides the tool to make it happen without needing to write any code. So why use Bubble instead? To learn code from scratch? First, it saves time. Building apps with Bubble.io is typically much faster than traditional coding. You can have a prototype or MVP up and running in a matter of days. Accessible for non-developers because Bubble is ideal for entrepreneurs, marketers and designers who wants to bring their ideas to life without relying on developers. Scalable. Bubble apps are fully scalable, which means you can start small and grow your app to thousands of users without needing to switch platforms. Let's jump into Bubble.io interface. Here, what you'll see when you start a new project. So, first of all, log in yourself into Bubble.io. You can either log in by creating new ID or you can just log in with Google. Like I've used my Google account to sign in to my Bubble.io account. Here, you can just simply create your own new personalized application. Here, you'll find a button called Create an App. You can click on it. You can name your app anything. For example, I named it Phase 1. We can start with the basic features. Once you will logged in and created an app, the bubble will show us a bubble assistant which will guide you through the application and through the editor zone. You can next step or skip application assistant howsoever you want it, and you can simply change here anything that you like. These were the global changes. Global changes you can see here. Everything is here. You can either change it here or you can change it later. Any kind of plugins you can install it pre-handed, and here how this is how the bubble database looks like. So basically here in this canvas we will be having four main tabs. First one is the design tab. In the design tab you can drag and drop any element. For example, your button, text, icon, anything whatsoever is available here. Any kind of container, groups, input elements, reusable element, which I will tell you later in the videos. So you can just simply drag and drop. Once you'll drop or click that particular thing, for example, here I've dropped in button and a text. Once you click on that particular, a pop-up will show up. This pop-up will contain all of the CSS, or you can say the styling for that particular button. You can style it accordingly. You can change the label, or you can change it to icon and label, or just an icon. Change its font style, font size, font style, everything. You can change it here. What kind of layout you wanted it, and any kind of conditions which you will learn later in the course. Second one, we will be having the workflow tab. So basically, this workflow tab is where the magic happens. Here, you will set up the actions that determine how your app behaves, like what's happened when a user clicks a button. For example, here I am on this particular button, hello. and I wanted to add a workflow. Means I wanted to give it some kind of action, like on clicking hello button, it should do some kind of task. Button is clicked. You can add action. For example, sign the user up, go to some particular page, open into an external website. We have ample amount of options here. If you have any kind of plugin installed, any kind of feature, it will be shown here. Any custom events, element action, analytics, payment, email actions, data actions, navigation account will be seen here. About all of these we will study in the later. Another one is the database tab. So basically, this tab is where you manage all of your application data, creating table for user, post, or any type of data that you wanted, any kind of listing or anything. You can simply create your own new data type here. For example, I created listing type of data and created listing. Bubble offers this user data type as a default one. It will keep a track whoever is logging into your application. As just now I created new listings type of data type, and you can create any field you wanted. For example, name. I've selected a type text, created it. For example, I wanted to add email. We can select any kind of, for example, here I'm adding it text only. In the privacy, we can attach any kind of rule related to that particular data type. Here we can select data. User is a privacy rule that has been connected with it. This user is current user. So we can check, uncheck any field and define any kind of rule that we wanted to be linked with that particular data type. Another tab is for the app data, which will consist of all the data that we are going to be viewed. Any data that is belong to this particular application can be viewed here. For example, this listings, users. This database data type contains email, created date, modified date, slug. We can change any kind of entries that are visible here in the database from the data type by adding any field that we wanted. For example, here we have default email, modified date, created date, slug. We can add a new field called full name. Selected field type, and we can simply create it. Now we are able to see that there is full name kind of a new column has been added to our data type user. We can edit each, like we can upload our file of database into the bubble database. We can add manually any kind of entry. We can modify any kind of entries. So this is how the bubble database works. This tab includes the option sets. Basically, we can here create option sets dynamic. For example, we are creating a drop down button where we wanted to use multiple options which will be using in our applications again and again. So we can simply just create that particular option set here and simply create it on the front end. This tab will contain our file manager. It will display all of the files that are stored. Any kind of media or anything can be visible here. This is tiling tab. So particularly this tab is basically used for global designing and global defining of any element that we are going to use in our bubble application. For example, this search box, we have created this bubbles default styling for standard search. We can change any kind of color, any kind of anything globally which we wanted, we can do it here. Any button changes we wanted to do, date time picker or any element, we can just simply add a global style to it and later use in the application. Rather than changing for each and every element, we can change here so that it will appear globally. This tab will include the plugin. So currently the application does not include any kind of plugin, we can simply click on add plugin button and add any of the plugin that we wanted. Plugin is basically helping hands for our application. If we wanted to include any kind of external feature, for that particular feature we can include plugin. It is always preferable, because rather than uploading a whole package, it is always preferable to include only that single plugin or that single thing only. For example, I wanted to include Google material icon, so rather than including whole package for the icons, I have chosen Google material plugin and simply just click on install. And here we are having in our backend Google material icons. So likewise we can work with Bubble plugins. This tab contains our settings for the application. Here we'll be able to see workloads, storage, and plugins, and app plan. Here in the general, we can find our privacy and security, whether it is a private app or everyone can view or everyone can edit. We can give any kind of, as I am the admin for this application, I can give any person any kind of rights which I wanted to be added to this particular application. We have password protection. Here we can check uncheck these boxes according to our requirement. We have two factor authentication. We have general appearance. These are the favicon icons we can update, which will appear on our Bubble application. Any kind of map location we wanted to enter, we can enter our API keys here. iOS appearance we can adjust from here. Any custom fonts that we wanted to include in our application, we can simply just add CSS file path. Any kind of Figma design that we wanted to import in our application, we can simply just add API key and the Figma file ID and click on import, and the whole design will be imported to our Bubble application. This is app file management. This is basically to optimize our application or to increase the performance speed for our application. This is for the importing and exporting. These are the advanced option. For example, this one expose the option to add ID attribute. As I have a little prior knowledge regarding the HTML elements, I can check uncheck it according to my own requirement, as Bubble offers and allow us to add HTML, JavaScript, any kind of content or libraries into our application. It all depends on the user or the admin who is creating the application. On this particular domain and email tab, we can here simply connect our Bubble ID to set up with a particular domain that customer has purchased for their application. Here we can do email setting, TLS encryption. Here we can choose the languages, what should be the primary language, language type, any kind of CSV wanted to import, export, error wordings in case our app encounters any kind of error in the application backend. So these are that we can adjust it. This tab contains SEO, search engine optimization. So Bubble itself offers SEO and meta tags option, so that our application will be on the top of the Google search. So we can write down here. These are for the script and meta tags. For example, if anyone wants to include Google Tag Manager or Google Analytics, so they provide us some kind of code, so we can include here in the header or in the body. These are 301 redirections, root directory. This is for the API. Any kind of like API workflow we wanted to enable in our backend workflows. Here in the workflows, if we wanted to enable API workflow, we have to go to settings and need to enable this all to make it work or to appear it for the action purposes. Otherwise, Bubble default do not show this option. Then we have third party auth. This is for the SSO. We will be discussing it later once we have created an application and gone through the course. This is for any kind of collaborations we have done. So we can simply invite any user by giving them any kind of edit, view, or any kind of, you can say, accessibility to that particular person. So these will be the sub app for the application in case we have any, so we can create here. These are just for the app versions. We can control our app versions from here, and this is for the bubble admin only, just to see any kind of notifications we are having on the application backend. This will contains our workload, basically how much work we are doing on the bubble application, what is the amount of workload we are using. This will contain the server logs, this will be the scheduler. So let's hop on to the design tab again. So for design tab, we can preview our application from here. Just click on it and a new preview tab will be able to see here. This is we are able to see, this is what bubble offers. So we can inspect our application at each and every step in here, or we can make it slow step by step inspection. It is a debugger basically, which bubble offers by default. We can add any kind of predefined components from bubble. Bubble offers some components which are very useful when creating an app using the bubble.io. For example, we are having headers, marketing, sidebars, footer, lists and fields, input and forms, app element, page layout. So we can simply just drag and drop it to use them. So here you are able to see that I have just simply dragged and dropped a sidebar layout here on our bubble page. So it is that simple. So thank you for watching, guys. Welcome back, Bubble enthusiast. Today we are diving into an essential feature in bubble.io called groups. Groups are the backbone of structuring and organizing your page in Bubble. So whether you are a beginner or an advanced user, this is a must know tool that will help you build better applications with Bubble. So groups, we can find it here in the container section. We have this simple group, repeating group, pop-up, floating group, group focus, and here we have been introduced with one more container type, that is table. So basically, what are groups in bubble.io? First thing first, in Bubble, a group is a container that holds other elements like text, image, or even other groups. Think of it as a way to structure your page by grouping elements that should stay together. For example, if you want a sidebar menu, you might want to group all the buttons in that sidebar together. Groups are also extremely helpful because they allow you to apply certain actions or data once and have it affect all on the elements that are present inside it. For instance, you can set conditions, visibility, or add workflows that apply to everything within that particular group. So, basically, why we should use groups. Bubble responsive engine works well when elements are grouped together. You'll get more control how things resize and adjust on different screens. By grouping elements, you can streamline workflows and make your app faster and more efficient. Easier maintenance. If you ever need to change the style or data source of several items, doing it within a group means you only need to adjust it once. So we don't have to do it again and again for each and every element present inside that particular group container. A pro tip I would like to give my viewers to keep your groups organized with clear naming conventions like header, profile group, so you can easily find them when building or updating your applications. So let's jump into the main type of groups in bubble.io. Bubble offers several group options with each unique characteristics. So let's start with our standard group. So this is the most basic type. It holds element and can have dynamic data sources. If you need to display specific data like user information, you can use a standard group with a data source such as current user. For example, this is the group. We can simply drag and drop it here. what type of layout we wanted to give our group to, whether we wanted it to be a container column layout, fixed layout, align to parent layout, row layout, how we wanted it to act. The whole this our index is also a type of group only. Index is basically here the main page for the website that is going to display front page. Once we currently this page is empty. So for groups we need to adjust first, need to know about the container layout. So currently the layout of this particular index container, index, see the naming convention, it is very necessary here, otherwise we won't know on which particular group, like while creating any application or web we will be having multiple groups in one particular single page, then we need to like identify it with proper namings. So here we are having this index group, it can be seen here in the elements tree index. We can change the layout according to us. A pro tip from me is to use it as a column always. We can use it as we wanted to, but as it is the index, the main or the parent for each every text element or a container, so we, like my pro tip for my viewers is to make it column always. We can change its minimum height and width according to our requirement, and change it any kind of flat color need to, if for example I wanted to change the color for this particular thing, see here you can change it. If you wanted to provide any kind of transition here, background style, padding, horizontal padding, vertical padding, you can give it from here. Any kind of conditions from this you can give it. Now let's, as we have dropped a pop-up, a group, standard group, it is displaying here. Now we can change the layout for this particular container as a row. I wanted it to be center aligned. Now as you can see, I can make it left align or in the front center. Likewise you can change it. Currently it is in the fixed width, I can make it full width, or we can make it fit with to content according to our requirement. So for example, let's drop a text here, edit me. See, it is appearing here in the end. Why it is appearing in the end? Because we have set the container alignment, like whatever we will drop it inside this particular container group A will be aligned to the right. We can change their alignment accordingly. Likewise here we can just simply give it a label, hello world, and we can make it simply center aligned. We can change its font size. We can control everything from here. We can go to merge like layout, we can change its margin, padding, everything. So currently this group's layout is in row, so everything will comes up in a row format. Like for example, let me duplicate it. So here they are coming in row format. What if I wanted to give or allow spacing between a group element? So we can just simply select that particular group, apply gap or spacing between them. We can add 20 pixel or 20 pixel here. So it will make like every element that I will be having here in this particular group will be maintaining this gap of 20 pixel. If we change the layout it to column, see, Now these are appearing in a column format. We can change their layout according to our particular requirement. So this is our standard group. This fixed group, this is something where we can define, or we are having this width and height fixed. We use it according to our requirement, but when, like, mostly we do not use this fixed element, otherwise it will, like, when we try to make it mobile responsive, it will create issues. So let's make it column. Now let's switch to our repeating group. Let me drag and drop. As the parent index group was in column format, see these two groups, group A and this particular group, these are appearing in column format. So this is repeating group. This group is basically used to fetch data from our backend. For example, this particular, I am making it a type of listing. So basically this group, repeating group, will fetch data from our backend listings, fetch it dynamically. For example, if I've added a particular hello world to this particular, like, particular text to this repeating group, so we can set rows, number of columns we wanted, and likewise we can control the data source also. Here I have provided this, the type of content to be listing. Let's do a search for our listings types. So this parent repeating group will be having type of content of listing. Now this text, we can insert our content here from the dynamic current sales index name. So when we will preview it in the front end, it will fetch up from names from the backend. Here, for example, here in our listings app data, we can find these two names, demo and test. See, demo and test. Why it is appearing here? Because repeating group is a type of dynamic group only. You do not fetch any kind of static values. So I've set the type of content to listings and set the data source to search for listings only. And here I have dragged and dropped a text value and made it dynamic by adding it to current sales listings name. Or we can drop one more element here, and we can make change its name to current sales listings email. Then we'll be starting to have emails also in the front end. See here. So that is how repeating groups work. Then let's go to our floating groups. So basically these are floating groups. Once we dragged and dropped it on our canvas, so basically what will happen, we can do same thing with this particular group. Like, we can add a text or any kind of element we wanted, but floating group stays in one place on the screen while you scroll. Think of it like a sticky sidebar or navigation bar that you wanted to stay visible no matter how much we scroll on that particular page. This is ideal for navigational menus or chat widget that we need to be accessed throughout the user's experience. For example, here, let me change the color so it will be visible. Primary. See here. Let me refresh this particular page. See, this is sticky here on the header part, which I have dragged and dropped this particular thing. So that is how it is used in our application. So let's hop on to another container type, that is our pop-up group. Pop-up. Everyone knows what pop-up is. If you do not, no worries. Let me introduce it. So basically, it is essential a model or a pop-up window. It is useful when you wanted to display content over the rest of your page, like login forms, alerts, or confirmations. Pop ups can be triggered with the workflow and make them ideal for temporary or supplementary information that user need to access quickly. For example, here I have dragged and dropped a pop up named A, let's say alert, and let me just add a text value here. Hi, welcome. Okay, and let's make this pop-up appear according to our requirement. Let's add a button here. Button from the elements, we can just simply search from here also. Let me add here button, click me. We can add small workflows, we like in case if you have any kind of doubt or anything, so we'll be having a separate video for it also, workflows. So once you click on add workflow, we can just simply go to element actions, toggle, we can select the pop-up alert. So now let's see what happens here on the front end. We can see the button here in the front end named click me. When we click, we are having this pop-up group to appear. See, that is how our pop-up groups, pop-up container works. Then we are having focus group focus. So basically it is very unique because it is a group that displays related to another element, like a drop down menu. For instance, you could use it to create a setting menu that appears below a button when clicked. It is especially useful for tooltips, contextual menus, or drop downs when you wanted a group to stay aligned to its specific parent element. For example, I have dragged and dropped this group focus and I have this particular button click me. I am giving reference to it to our button click me. Okay, I am deleting this one so we don't have any kind of confusion here. So click me, it is its reference element, and once, for example, here this button click me, and this is our group focus, let's say its name is A. So let's add a new workflow to this particular button, like when clicking on this button what should happen. So as we have set the reference element to this particular button, we need to add workflow. So I've added this workflow, button click me is clicked, what should happen. Then we can just simply go to our element action, toggle which particular group we wanted to toggle, that is a group focus. So now let's see what happened in the front end. When we click on this click me, see this group focus has appeared here in our front end. Now that we have covered the types of groups, let's quickly go over how to add group in your Bubble project. First, go through the design tab. You can select any data source and then set the type of content to connect. We can make it dynamic for every group, not only for repeating group. We can make it dynamic for each and every group, whether it is a group focus or a floating group or our simple group. We can just simply select the type of element, type of content which we wanted to display, whether it is a current user or need to search for another data type. We can do it here. And there you have it. Groups are an incredible, powerful tool in bubble.io that can make your pages organized, efficient, and easy to maintain. Try experimenting with different group types in your next project to see which fits your needs best. If you enjoyed this tutorial, give it a thumbs up, subscribe for more bubble tips, and let me know in the comments which group type you are most excited to try. See you in the next video. Welcome to No Code Nation. So today we are going to learn about the bubble templates, how we can find appropriate template according to our application or website, and how we can create an app using it. So once you will log in to bubble.io account, you will able to view the sidebar which will containing app build guides template plugin. So need to go to templates. Here, these are the templates which has been purchased by me. These are all have been displayed here, as you can see. So to buy any new template or to check any new template library provided by Bubble, you can just simply click on explore templates. It will redirect to a page which will be containing Bubble's free and paid version of all kind of templates, which will be very helpful while creating any application. So, for example, here we have drop down option for free and paid, free only, paid only, experience level, and sort by. So we can choose it according to our requirement. For example, let's create an application using a template. So, for example, I wanted to create a landing page. Let's sort it by landing page. This one is free. Let's start with this one. I'm clicking on it. Click on get template. If you wanted to preview, you can view everything about that particular template. Here, what is the rating, reviews, everything, template details. You can read it more. So, if you wanted to preview it, you can just simply click on preview and it will be redirected to that preview page of that particular template. So, here, this is how a basic template has been provided by the Bubble library, which I'm tending to install in my Bubble app. So let's hop on to this particular page again and get template. Once get template is clicked, this particular template will be purchased by me as it is free. I can use this particular template from the drop down. Start from a template. It is optional one. You can start without template also and just name your app. Template app. Let's get started with the basic features. As I already told you in my previous video, the app has been created. You can either set or skip the assistant. In this case, we have skipped the assistant. So now this is what our application is going to look, and this is how the template has been installed in our application. So we can just simply click on the preview button here, which is present on the right hand side. Just click on preview. You can remove this particular debug mode true from the URL if you do not wish to see this bubble debugger in the bottom. So just modify the URL, remove the debug mode true, and you'll be able to see the website preview. that how your website is going to look. So this is how we can just simply create a simple landing page using a template. See, we have everything working here in this particular template. Let's hop back to Bubble Editor and see what all pages are included. So there is only, as we have selected the landing page only, so we are having here only the index page. We can create further pages later. So if in case you wanted to any of the element, you can just click on it. Pop-up will show up for that particular element. You can simply just edit it. For example, master no code, I wanted to make it template. Let's say no code nation, and let's change this to by Urvashi. So we can edit it according to our requirement, and once the edit has been done, we can just simply click here and the changes will be visible in the preview mode front end. See here. Likewise, you can change anything, any content, anything here, and you can just simply create an application using the bubble template. Welcome to No Code Nation. Today, let's start by creating a page from scratch using bubble.io. So, if you haven't created any application, just click on application and you can refer my previous tutorial to create a new app. Then you can just simply click on it to enter into the bubble editor for that particular application. It will redirect us to the bubble editor. So here we have 404 page, index page, and reset password page, which Bubble automatically creates for us. So index is the main page for any application, whether it is web, HTML, CSS based application or whatever. It's named with index only. So let's start editing the index page here. So once you'll hover on here, you'll be able to see this canvas. This is the bubble canvas where we can drag and drop our elements to create any kind of application. So first, for this index page, we can change the page title. For example, I am changing it to No Code Nation. Do we have a different mobile version? We can select type of content or anything. We wanted to give any background color, image, gradient, video, anything. SEO content is also can be controlled from here. So this is, I have changed the page title. So let's start by drag and dropping the components which Bubble offers for easy creation of our application here. So we have different layouts that Bubble has provided to make our work easier. So we have different page layouts, headers, marketing, sidebars, footers, list and feeds, input and forms, and app elements which are already pre-built default from the Bubble. So, for example, we wanted to add a header to our particular application. We can just simply click on it. Whatever application, whatever header we like, we can just simply drag and dropping it. But as this is a new application, they wanted us to install plugins to use components. So we can simply click on the button install. It will automatically install all those plugins which will be necessary to use these components to make our work easier. The plugins have now been installed to our library, plugin library, so we can now able to grasp these components that are pre-built in the bubble. And later we can edit it according to our requirement. For example, I like this first one template, so I will simply take it and drop it in my index page. As you will be able to see, now that particular header component has been dropped into my application. If you guys wanted to see in the front end, you can just simply click on preview and you will be able to see this in the front end. As I previously mentioned, if you wanted to have a few like full view without the debugger provided by the bubble, you can just simply remove this debug mode true and hit enter. Here now we are able to see this header that we have currently added into the page. For example, I wanted to edit these buttons. I wanted to have it a label of home, about, blog, and contact. See how easy it is. Do we have any kind of sign in, sign up? If we do, we can add it or we can change this button to anything which we like. For example, I wanted to make it an icon and label. For example, icon I wanted to select it to phone and wanted to add label of my number here. See, this is how easy it is to create an app. Let me change this particular image and replace it with the logo that I have. Simply just click on static image. It will open up and we can just simply drag and drop. It will automatically upload the image here and we can control everything, its width, its height, aspect ratio, everything from this layout tab. For example, here we have given the fixed width. Let's change it and make its width 320. And I don't want to maintain the aspect ratio as well. And I wanted to give it height of my own choice. Let's say I wanted to give it height 50 and width also 50. So this is how it is looking. But my logo was not in like the roundness is 0 according. So I have made it 0 and now see. But as you can see here, this logo is not at all visible and I don't want this text to be here. So I can just simply click on it and delete. And now I can change the width and height and everything. It is under my control how I wanted my application to show any of the component here in the app. See, is it visible now? Let's preview it. Once we'll go into that particular URL, let's refresh the page and boom, we have are able to see each and every changes that I've done on the backend. One thing I wanted your attention to be at, for example, here in this elementary, it will be very helpful when you started creating a big complex application with lots of groups and elements. So here you can see this is the main tree component which is index, whose layers, like different layers we have set up. So these layers are basically, see, group headers. Inside group headers we are able to see group margins. Inside group margins we are able to see this group logo which is containing this particular image, group links, and these buttons. So later on, once you'll add more and more number of groups and components here in this particular page, it will be easier to access them from this elementary on the left hand side. So let's start by adding a text into our application. Here, as you can see, this text is very small. So we can just simply go and change the style. As my bubble application has already predefined style, global, which has already been present in the style tab, you can change it according to your application. I am using the default one for the tutorial. Here, you can just simply select any kind of heading style you wanted to add or use in your application. For example, here I wanted to write welcome to no code nation. Now, this text is left aligned. I don't like its alignment. So by clicking on layout, horizontal alignment, I can change it to center. Now see, it is onto the center. Let's drop another element, another text. Change its styling. I wanted it to be a little smaller, but in bold. And for example, I don't like this font style, so I can simply just change the font style to any which I wanted to use. For example, let's go with open source. Now the font style has been changed. Let's say font weight should be 500 pixels. I wanted it to be 14. No, 14 is too slow. For example, 24. And font color, I wanted it to be in primary blue. Let's make it alignment center and let's write something. See, this is how our application is looking right now. So let's see how we can group these elements and what will be the benefit of grouping these two. Once, let's first preview it so that we will be able to see what all changes we have done in the backend. See, this is how our application is looking right now. So let's start by grouping these elements. You can select this particular element which you wanted to group and this one. As I wanted it to be one on top of other, so I will group these elements in column container. Now the container has been set. This particular group B, I will say group home banner. Why this nomenclature is required? So that it will be easier for you to get any element from your elementary to work on future. So let's make it a homepage banner, as currently what's this layout is saying. Okay, so we are having minimum width of 40 and maximum it will take up to what all the elements are taking. So let's say maximum I wanted to define it to 600. Let's define its height to 600. As it is fit height to content, that is why it is not taking up our maximum height. Once we uncheck it, see, it is taking up 600 height. So we can adjust it accordingly, according to our requirement. Let's make it 550. So now, as you can see, this content is not in a very good position on the particular page and I wanted it to be center aligned. So let's choose the alignment from here. Currently, the container alignment of the container where you guys wanted it to be. Currently, it is on the top. You can make it into the center. See how easy it is. So now, like I wanted to add new element to it. Currently, the layout of this container is in column, so let's add a button to it. For example, here I wanted to add it as it is a column layout group, so it will definitely go in column alignment. Let's change its horizontal alignment to center, and boom, we have it. If you wanted to make any kind of change, you can simply change here. This label for this particular button to read more, and here let's preview it on the front end, and here we have it. Let's change its background to something which make it a little more fancier, maybe some image or maybe some kind of gradient color or anything. You can choose it according to your needs. So let's click onto the home group home banner and choose with the background style. Do you wanted it to be a flat color just like this, or any custom color you wanted to add with any kind of opacity you wanted to give? For example, I wanted to give it 50% opacity, and here we have it. And for example, if you wanted to add some kind of gradient, and here we can apply any color you wanted to use. For example, this. Welcome to No Code Nation. If you do not like the spacing or you wanted to allow a gap in between the column and row, you just need to select that particular group. Go to Layout tab, allow gap spacing between the elements by unchecking and checking it. So it will provide us with row gaps so we can add gaps according to our requirement. It will create 20 pixels of gap in between those elements which are present inside that particular group. So this is how a page is going to look right now. Let's say I don't like the spacing here, which default header has been provided. So let's change it to a bit more that we like. Let's hop back onto the group header and let's check its width. It width has been already defined to 1137 and let's make it to 1450. For example, let's see what happens. See here, the alignment has changed according to my view. So this is how easy to create anything on the bubble. So let's start another group. Let's create another group onto this particular page. So let me tell you how this components app will help you in the future references for creating any kind of landing page. This is something that we have created from the scratch. You can just simply drag and drop this one also, as Bubble already provides us with the default component. You can just click on it. You will find different page layouts, header layouts, marketing layouts. For example, here we have created something similar of this. You can just use something similar of this one. Whatever you like, you can just simply drag and drop it from here to here. For example, I wanted to create something like blog. I will simply drop it onto my application. See, this is what happens when you drop it on the wrong place. So we can simply just do undo from here. This redo and undo, these are very important and these will be very helpful for you while working on the bubble. For any kind of change you wanted to do undo, you can use these two buttons. Let's start dropping the element or component. Later we will edit them according to our requirement. For example, I wanted to add this particular explore all our features section onto the bubble application. See, the alignment of this particular group is not good. How I am able to check it? See, it is currently inside this group home banner. It should be a different group. So either you can change the group position from here, just like I am doing it. Are you able to see the changes? That easy it is. So let's change their position. That is why this nomenclature and this elementary is necessary when you have multiple kinds of group. See, we can give or add any kind of feature to this particular group. For example, this particular section we have been provided with minimum width of 20%, and I wanted to add some kind of property. For example, I wanted to have a hover effect to it. So let's define a condition by clicking on define another condition. Click. You can say this group is hovered. So what I wanted to change. For example, I wanted to add box shadow style. It is currently none. Let's say outset. And what happens? This is the third one. Let's preview it. Remove the debug mode. Do we have any kind of box shadow color? No. Let's add it. Let's see what changes we are able to see on the front end. Are you able to see? Let me change the color to more brighter one so you'll be able to easily see it. Are you able to see it now? One more thing. If you don't like, we have multiple boxes here and I don't want to write this particular condition again and again. Either I can simply just copy and paste this side by side, or simply I can just copy this particular condition and paste it. Let's preview. And it is done. Let's create a simple contact form from scratch. I won't be using any kind of components here, just to show you that how easy it is. Let's start by adding a new text element here by dragging and dropping. We can edit it. Let's change its name to contact us. Made it center aligned. Change its font style to heading 2. And let's drag and drop the input fields. Full name. Changing its alignment to center. This is our placeholder. We can change the content format to text, email, whatever we wanted to choose. Let's say I am copying and pasting it here. Again, we are having this particular input field where we can write email, change its content type to email, pasting again. We can write it to subject, content format we already have. Then we can add a multi-line input for our message. Changing its alignment to center. Message. So now let's make a group for these elements, and let's also drop a button also. Then we'll make a group. Changing its name to button submit. Submit. I am grouping this element in column container. Now I can allow the spacing. I can make it center aligned. I wanted to change the width of these contents. Let's say maximum I wanted to give it 500. See. Now let's make another group which we will name again in column format. Again we will allow some spacing and we'll name this particular group to group contact us. Now our customized form has been created. Let's add some padding and some background color to it. Let's now preview this application or website landing page. And here we are having our contact us. Now let's drop a footer from the components to make it more easier. Go to components, go to footer. I wanted its footer to be very simple, so just drop it. I don't like the background color for the footer, so I'm changing it to none. Changing the component to match my header also. Home, about, blog, contact. So changing these wording. Home, about, blog, contact. We can customize it according to our needs. Changing the copyright. And let's switch back to the front end. Let's say I don't like this particular footer for my application and I don't want it. So we can simply just delete it and drop a new footer just like this. And we can edit it. I wanted to copy this, so just simply copy and paste. Delete this element. Now let's preview. Here we are having a good working functional footer, a contact form, a features page, a home page banner, and a header. Now with the website, we can create a simple landing page. We can create any kind of thing from scratch. just like this. Well, enthusiast, welcome back to my channel No Code Nation. So today we are going to work on how to make an app or a page or a group mobile responsive. So let's dig in. So this is my index page that we have created earlier in my previous video. So there are basically two ways we can make a page mobile friendly. So well, that depends on a person's perspective how they wanted their application to look like. So first thing first, you can create a different mobile version of your page. For example, this index page, and I wanted it to be very much different, like literally very much different from the current layout that we have been using here. So I can create a new version or a new page and set it as a mobile version. For example, here I have set index mob page that I already created earlier to be preview as mobile version. So how it will going to work, that we can just simply go to the workflows, we can click on add event, and we can just say pages loaded only when current page width is greater than equals to 600. What I'm trying to set here, that I want this current page to be loaded. This index page I'm talking about to be loaded only when the page width should be greater than 600 pixels. So I am setting this condition here. So let's say now this is the screen size is greater than 600 pixels. So let's check in mobile version how it is displaying. Let me refresh it and see my index mob is now visible. Not my index page, it is index mob which I have set up in the application via mobile version. This tab here will help us to create a new mobile version for our current existing page. And so another way to make any section responsive is go by section by section. For example, here, this home page banner section, or here, I wanted to make it mobile responsive and from the scratch this particular page. So there is this tab called responsive. Just click on it, and here you will be finding different pixel modes where you can set up or change any kind of setting you want it to be displayed on the front end. For example, mostly in most of the cases, whatever we are building here in our canvas UI builder, basic normal canvas, not responsive one, it most of the time works till the default 1200 992. Also sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. See here in my page it is looking fine. Let's see 768. So 768 header looking is fine, but I don't like the spacing of this heading here. So what I can do is just click on this pop-up will appear, and for example I am not liking this heading as there is no spacing or anything. What I can do is I'll go to this conditional tab. So basically this tab is used for adding any kind of condition related to that particular element, whether it is a group, text, button, or anything else. So we will hit on define another conditions, and we'll say current page width. So as we are dealing with the width page, so Bubble offers this predefined current page width condition, and we can set it up accordingly. So for example, let me say if it is less than 990. If this condition is less than equals to 990, I wanted this text to have a padding. Top padding 20, bottom padding 20, right padding 20, and left padding 20. See, what happened here now, section does not like align in the center, and I wanted it to be look in the center. For that, what I have to change, which condition exactly, what I have to change is text alignment. So here I'll go back to conditions, change text alignment, and now I can set it up for page width or screen sizes less than 990 pixels. So now you can see here the look of this particular page. All other sections are looking fine. Now what we can do is we can check in mobile version 320 pixel. We can add few more breakpoints we wanted. For example, 480, 600. That depends on your usage. You can add any here. Well, I'm working here with the default one for the timing. For example, here I don't like these texts. I wanted it to be aligned in the center. So what I can do, same thing. I'll click on the conditions, create one conditions with the page width. I'll set it up to be less than 450 pixels. I'm taking it generally, you can take any. So I'm setting it to 450 pixels, and I wanted this alignment, text align, or this. If you wanted to check any condition which you wanted to change, so you can see here horizontal alignment that I have to do. Horizontal alignment, and I'll change it. It is not changing. So what more we can do is copy this condition, go to that specific thing, then paste this condition. Horizontal alignment is set. What is not set is text alignment, and I'll change the text alignment. Same copy condition. Same I can do with this one also. Paste condition. See, copy condition, paste condition. That is how we can control each and everything in our bubble application. Now let's see what happened in the front end. I am closing this, refreshing the page. Here we are loaded back to our page, and I wanted to check it in the 768 mode first. This is my 768 mode. See, the padding and everything is there. Now let's check in 320, 390, any kind of mobile mode. You can see the difference. Now this center alignment is as we have did for the first row only, not others. So you can see the differences. See, here all are left aligned, this one is center aligned. So that is how you can do mobile responsive of any kind of group, element, page, anything. It is this simple by using this particular method. Hello, Bubble enthusiast, welcome back to No Code Nation. So today we are going to learn about the sign up, login, database, and workflows that will be related to create a successful sign up and login. So let's dig in. So now, first of all, let us create a page. So you can create page from the scratch. Like I am creating my page here, sign up, and you can choose it from any existing page, clone, or just create a simple page. So I am creating a simple sign up page. Now it totally depends on you whether you wanted this components to be used for sign up logins, as Bubble already provide us different kinds of sign up and login that are available, the default ones basically. So you can use it from here by dragging and dropping. Likewise, you can change field, or if you wanted to include any kind of thing and everything, this will work fine. Other than that, if you don't want to like use this particular field, you can simply remove it, delete it, and you can create in this canvas on your own. For example, here the layout is fixed. I'm setting it up to the column as I already told you in my previous videos. I'm setting it up to columns so that everything stacks up one onto other. So here I am making it a simpler version so that you guys will be having better understanding. So let's say I am choosing an input field, dragging and dropping, making it center aligned. Let me give padding to this page. If padding is not allowed, what you can do is allow spacing, let's say 20 pixels. And you can simply give spacing to this particular input field. For example, I am giving this input field as name, copying this as the content format is text for name. You can paste it. We can use it for email. We can change the formatting here, email. Now drag and drop a simple button, make it center aligned, sign up. If you still wanted to have a confirmation email, you can still add one more field for email confirmation. Now these all three fields have been set up. We can group these elements in again a new column container, provide spacing between them. We can add padding or make it center aligned like howsoever I wanted it to be. For example, here this is this. I can make it center aligned. Like it is totally dependent on me. So what I'm doing here is I'm giving it a padding 100 pixel top, 100 pixel bottoms. Now what we have to do is input name, input email, nomenclature, input email confirmation. So let's start by this sign up. So first we need to set up our database for users to log in and save these values. So let's jump onto database. User database, I already told in my previous video that it is default one, and I wanted this email is already existing here. We can create a new field by name, field type, do set, text, and create. Now let's hop back to the design. And what I wanted to do is click on this button sign up, add a workflow. Click on it. It will redirect us to workflow tab. Now what we wanted exactly when button sign up is clicked, what I wanted to do, I want this user to sign the user up, log the user in. So what exactly sign the user up I wanted to. Now I need to dynamically fetch data from these input fields. What I meant to say is like in the front end that this is how the form is displaying. And whatever content I am writing or the user is writing, I want this content to be saved in my database. When someone clicks on this button sign up and they are able to sign up the user. So now I am making it dynamic. Like I need to store these value to my database. How am I going to use it? Like I have choose the action sign the user up, but I need to input the values for email and password. So let me do input email value. See, blue means it is right. Whatever the input dynamic value or condition we are using, blue means it is right. Password input. As we haven't added any password field, we can add it in our design. Here we are coming back here. C, Control V. Previous. You can change this field to password. Change the content format to password. Now coming back to our workflow, Password, we can change this input field to passwords value. Now see blue it is. So it means this is a valid condition we have given. Require a password confirmation or send an email to confirm the email. Remember the email, like it all is in your hands. Do you want to confirm password? For example, here I have email confirmation. What I can do is I can make it password confirmation just to show you here. Password confirmation. Now, require a password confirmation. Yes. Confirmation. I am saying this input password confirmation's value. These should be matched. And do you want to send an email to confirm? Bubble has its own inbuilt functionality. Do you want the user to remember the email? Yes or no? Now, after this thing, the user will be signed up. Now, I wanted once the user signs up, they are navigating back to our index page. Okay, now what exactly is happening here? Now, this we are at the sign up page. For example, I'm saying Urvashi. Email is no codeNation at the rate demo.com. And password, I am choosing any simple password, not the one suggested by Bubble. Now I am signing up. Passwords do not match. This is how the password confirmation is working, as we have set that we wanted require password confirmation. See, the values of these both should match. In my case, it is not matching. So let me rewrite. I just wanted to show you here how this confirmation is working. Check. The password has been confirmed and we have been redirected to our index page because I have set the navigation here. Now let's check to database. Go to database tab, data types, then app data. Here you can see my email ID has been fetched up. As you guys can see here, only my email has been fetched. No name is not yet fetched, as it has been created by us only because it is not in the default data type user. So what we have to do is just go back to the workflows and add field. We need to add this field that we have custom created ourselves. So name should be equals to input names value. Now let's recheck. I am deleting this email ID so that there is no trace of this user to have been already existing in our system. I'm deleting this one. Now let's preview it. Now let's say again I'm adding Urvashi email no codeNation at the rate test.com. Signing up, redirected to our index page. Now let's check our app data. See, our name has been fetched, email has been fetched, everything is fetched. So now this is how our sign up will work. For for now, let's say I wanted to create a login page. So same way, add a new page, login page. This time I am cloning from the sign up page. Create. Now the editor is open. Let's change the label to login. Name, email, I guess we are not required with the name, email, password not needed, confirm password. Now we can set another workflow, edit workflow, deleting all these actions. Now what I wanted to do is log the user in and then navigate to index page. So let's preview it. This time I'm logging the user in. This is our email address. I am copying this. No code nation @test. Please include an email. Okay. See, here in the workflows, I do not mention these values, so Bubble has thrown me an error. So what we have to do is input email, value, input password, value. So now let's again recheck it. Now we are able to log in into our application. Hi guys, welcome back to No Code Nation. So today we are going to learn about the sliders, how we can create our own personalized slider in bubble.io. So let's start. Let me create a first new page, slider, create. Then we need to go to database, need to create a new type of data that, let me name it to slider. I am creating it. Now we need to add a field. As today my slider will be of type image, so I can write it as a name picture. Field type should be image and create it. So here we'll go to this app data tab. Here we can manually, or we can just simply, or we can just simply upload via CSV into the bubble database. For example, here first entry has been created. Now I'm creating another new entry. Simply just clicking and uploading another image. Open, click on create, and the entry has been updated. Let me create one more entry. This one. Open, create. Got it. Now these three files for slider images have been added to my database. Now let's go to design tab, change the layout for this to column. Now let's add a repeating group, making it center aligned. Now what I wanted to do is, let me make the rows to be fixed to one only, making minimum width to 500. The width will, we can check and check according to our needs. I am keeping it fit width to content. Height, let's say 400 minimum. So now we are going to add another element in this repeating group, that will be our image. Let me make it likewise. Now let me add dynamically data from the database. How we can do it? Simply just click on this dynamic image, insert dynamic data. Now it will show us what type of data we wanted to choose. Why it is not displaying anything? Because we haven't select type of data for our repeating group. For example, here, this repeating group, I haven't chosen the type of content. Plus, the bubble will also give you an error because for repeating groups to work, it should always have a type of content. For example, here we'll be having slider and data source will be our do a search for slider. Blue means all of our dynamic condition or content which we are fetching is fine. No errors it will throw. Now, when we go back and click to our image, see, we are having color current cell sliders picture. Now we are able to fetch this dynamic image. So, now what we have to do is we need to add two buttons. One is for previous. Let me just copy and paste it. Another one will be next. I am grouping these two buttons in a row so that they appear side by side like this, giving spacing. Now I wanted them to be center aligned. They are. And I want to give it a margin top of 20 also so that there will be a space. Now we are going to add a workflow to our previous button. Now click on add workflow, go to element actions, show previous. Here you can check the element, it auto selected it to repeating group slider. Same with this button next, just click on add workflow, go to element action, show next. Now let's see in the front end what changes has happened, whether it is fetching our value or not. Let me preview it. Removing this debug mode. You can see here next. See, next button is working. Let's check with the previous one. Previous. This is how it is working. You can customize it according to your style. For example, here I don't like this border around repeating group, so I've removed it. No border. I wanted it to be center aligned. Now let me show you one more condition here we can use with this show next to repeating group slider is this wraparound. So currently our application does not wrap around. For example, here this is the last image form that we have loaded in the slider data type. So it is not going on the next image. Like there is no next image, so it is not going forward. Same with the previous also. This is the first image and it is not going back to it. So what we can do here, we can go to workflow tab again, go back to here and we can set wrap around. We can check this wrap around. Now let's see what happens here. Next. Next. So yes, we are going beyond. Like the list is repeating itself. It is not getting stop on the last or first image in case of both previous and next. So one more thing which we can do, for example, we wanted our slider to auto rotate. What we can do every 5 seconds. We can create a new event, go to general, do every 5 seconds. What we can do here, we can just simply show next wrap around. So now after every 5 seconds, the image will always show next image. See, after every 5 seconds, it will rotate. One thing to note here also is just to check wraparound because we are making it auto rotate, otherwise, it will stop at the last image. .io. Click on the application, go to sidebar, click on data, navigate to app data, click on listings. Here we do have upload option. Click on it, select the type of data to listings, click on upload a file. It should be in CSV format only. Hit open, check the mapping. Everything is mapping fine. Click on validate data, click on upload data. Click on new upload and close. See, here we are able to see our data that it has been uploaded to the listings in the database in Bubble backend. Here we can modify the type of listings we wanted to be. For example, these titles we can modify which we wanted to see, which we do not wanted to see. So we can click on here in the additional fields. We can click check uncheck whatever we wanted to see or not to see here on this listing view. We can modify any of the entries here. Like if we wanted to change any kind of costing for particular entry, we can change it here. Now just click on this dashboard page just for the preview that our data has been successfully uploaded. Click on preview here. See, the data has been uploaded now. Once we click on see more, see the data has been uploaded. Hi guys, welcome to No Code Nation. So today we are going to learn about forget password, how to make it work. So let's start. So let us go to the login page which we already have created. For any other tutorials, you can just check out my other videos. So here we have this forgot password text. Now what actually is happening in the front end, let's preview it. So here we have this button. Currently it is not linked with the forgot password. So now what we have to do is we need to click on add workflow for this particular text forgot password and need to set an action to resend password reset email where you wanted email to reset. For example, you need to enter here what email ID you wanted to use to send password reset email to, from where customer can click on it and just reset their password. So what we have to do is, let me just add one new element here. That will be our pop-up when someone clicks on this forgot password. Let me create a pop-up here, and I will be adding an input field to it. This input field will be having my email ID, which user will enter. Enter email, then we'll be having a button. Send, making it center aligned, grouping it in column container so that these they come one top of other, allowing some spacing, making it center aligned, adding one more text, making it also center aligned. Now it is working fine. Now the previous workflow which we have added, we can delete it. Now what I wanted to do is, when someone clicks on this forgot password, adding workflow, when someone clicks on this forgot password, I want to show the pop-up. Pop-up A. You can change the name of this particular pop-up to reset password. For better understanding while using the elements, now it will show the pop-up reset password. Now what should happen here when someone comes up and they click on this, your pop-up should display, and when customer enter this value, this is an input enter email. Let me change the nomenclature again so that we don't get confused. For password reset, now once the user click on send, what should happen? I wanted it to send a password reset email where input value should be the one which we have created in the pop-up. So one thing here to note, guys, for example here I entered this input, it is coming red. It means the condition which I'm applying is not correct. So in that case, I need to complete it. For example, here now it is blue and it means it is working fine. So now this, upon clicking on the send button, this password sent reset email will be shared to this particular email value. This is how it is going to work. So let's test it. We are clicking on forgot password. See, our pop-up is display. Enter email. For that, I need to first sign into the application just to saw whether it is working or not. Then I will preview it for you for better understanding. A point to be noted here that Bubble offers reset password functionality to itself. They do not provide anything related to it in the backend. For example, here some people they do have confusions that why are we not able to save passwords here because of users confidentiality. Bubble do not offer this. Rather, they have created this workflows where it will be directly linked with the user itself. So first of all, then I will be needing to sign up into the application for testing it. So let's go to the sign up page. We have already set up the sign up process, so it will be easier for us to do it. Let's preview the sign up page. Let me enter my name, email, password, password confirmation, sign up. If it will be successful, it will be redirected to our index page or main page. So now we have signed up into the application. So let's go to our login page and test it as well. This is our login page. And let me say that I forgot my password. I'm writing my email. After hitting send button, it will redirect an email to my mail address where I will be having a password reset link. I have sent it. Now let me check my email address, Gmail. See here, I have received a reset link here on my email. So let if I'll be clicking on it, it will redirect me to my Bubble application where I can reset my password. Nothing has happened. So we need to make changes to this reset password page that is present on our front end here. Now what has happened here is this confirm button, it currently do not have any of the workflow. So we need to add a workflow, like after confirming it should reset the user password. So here, by adding to a workflow, let me add an action, reset password. It will reset my password. And what should be the input values for these values should be these input values which we are having here. So let me do the nomenclature for fetching correct values. Now let's go back to this workflow tab. Reset password value should be my input passwords value, and confirmation should be my input password confirm value. Now let's recheck it again. Oh, we need to log in again. Need to send again the reset password link. That is why it is not working currently. So login page, previewing it. Forgot password, entering the email. Send. The password has been successfully sent to my email address. Here I'm having this link again, clicking on it. Entering my new password. And confirm the password has been reset now. Hello guys, welcome to No codeNation. So in today's video, we will dive into one of the most powerful tools in Bubble, that is custom states. I'll show you what they are, how to use them, and why they are a game changer for your Bubble application. So you are very curious, so what are those custom states? So think of them as temporary data storage for your app. Unlike your database fields, custom states don't save data permanently here. Instead, they store information in the browser while the user is on that particular page. For example, you can use them to store the value of a button click or manage a temporary list of items without having to write to your database. So Like you guys must be thinking why they are useful. So I guess few reasons are speed. Since custom states are client side, they are faster than saving to database. For example, if we save any of the data in our database, we have to enter each and every value that will go to your database. Then for fetching, it will again go back to database and then fetch the value. So custom states, these are temporary storage for that particular page. They are faster comparatively storing it in database. User experiences like toggling, pop up, these temporary storage now, they make it faster. And yes, use them for task. They save data, like saving data is not necessary here, so it definitely saves our database storage. So let's start how we can set custom states in our application or in our page. For example, here in this page, let me preview it first. So here there are these two buttons, search and share. I wanted when I click on this button search, this section should display, and when I click on this share, so this section should display. So what I will do it, I need to attach my custom element to some element in the page. That can be our whole complete page or that particular section. So I'm attaching it to this group features. So first of all, you are seeing this eye icon, click on it. This is basically element inspector. Here you will find this option custom states. You can click on add a new custom state, give in give a name to your custom state. For example, here I'm using scene. State type, I am using it as a text. You can use any data, either a data type or a basic type or plugin type. So these three are available, where out of which you can use a data type or a basic type. So I'm using a basic type as text only. I have created and I am keeping a default value of it to be as search. I'm making it as my default value, search. You can use colons or not colons. Search, you are making it. Then we can just simply close it. Let's click on this button, add a workflow. Click add action. You can just go and simply set a state here. State to which element? With element to which we have attached the custom state. That is our group features. Here, this section added custom states. Your created state will be seen here, and you can simply add a value. For example, here I'm adding search. So this search value should be attached to something. Like for example, what I'm trying to say here, this custom state. This is an element group feature. We are saying that it is having a state. We are attaching one element, temporary element that will store the temporary value to this particular group feature. But that value should be attached to some element. For example, I am going to like making it toggle. Once you click on search button, it should display this. Share button, it should display this. So search button, I need to attach the value search to this particular thing, that on clicking this search button should display. So what I will do is I will go to this conditional tab, click on it, will find the group feature, and we'll say when group features seen is search, then blue means this is a valid condition, then this element should be visible. So as we can see is this element is visible on page load, we can remove it, and we can activate collapse when hidden. Collapse when hidden means it won't, like, if I don't do this now, collapse when hidden. So see what happens here. There is an empty space appears. But when I say collapse when hidden, this empty space will be gone. See, that is what collapse when hidden. This check uncheck box, that is how you can use it. Now I'm also adding one more condition, that if this is not my search value, I want this element to be hidden. So condition for this one has been set. Now let's go to this particular thing. Share. I'm again adding a workflow, adding a action to set a state for the element which we have connected our custom state, selection of custom states, then the value. I want it to be share. Now I wanted to go to that element which will be having this particular value share. Then this group should be seen. Checking it, element on page load I'm removing, collapse when hidden. This element is visible, copying this condition, pasting it to making it more appropriate that it should not be visible when this is not shared. We can preview this particular page, removing debug mode. So now what has happened? If we are clicking on search, the search row is displaying. If we are clicking on share, the share is displaying. See, it is working fine. But as you can see here, default there is nothing that is displayed. So what we can do is we can just go on to this group search. The element is visible on page load. We can activate it. Now let's see what has the changed. This element is still not visible. Let me just recheck the condition. So let me recheck this condition again. Here we have to, like, we are using this inverted inversions here now, this double colons. So in the values here in our condition, so we have to attach that to our main custom state value also. So here I made a change for this group. I have to make it element visible on page load. It should be visible. So now let me refresh this page and see. This is coming up as my default value because I have set the default value for this custom state to be double colons search. Same as that being used or called here. This value. These should be same to be called. Yeah. Now let's refresh again and check this. Here, default search is visible. Clicking on share is visible. Search is hidden again. So it is working fine. So that is how you can call a custom state and you can use it accordingly according to your needs.